Hello, everyone. Welcome to Club Deck Corner here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. A week of a high and a week of probably returning to the norm, depending what side of the fence and what side of the positivity fence even that you want to sit on. I am Scott Carney, and joining me tonight is Ross McLean. Ross, how are you, mate?
Good evening, mate. Good evening. Yeah, it's good to be back on. It's a good pod last week on Friday. Just a quick thank you for all the kind messages after Friday's pod. It was very much appreciated. It was much good fun. But no, it's another situation, mate. It's a few days after the weekend and we're feeling slightly flatter again. Although it is come up to the Christmas period, I don't know if you can see. I'll stand up for audio listeners. This won't make sense. I've got a Antonio Cholak Christmas jumper on, lads. We're getting into the festive periods. The positivity's coming right back. But no, like we're here to talk about it. It was a relatively flat performance, but yeah, let's hope we can make amends tomorrow.
Yeah, mate. Let's hope you've got to hope, haven't you? You've got to hope that we can make some form of yes. Well, I don't know. It depends. It depends what side that you want to sit on of it. I think there's some wanting to see positives. There's others that have no chance of seeing positives. However, the positive that you've started with is that's a belter of a jumper, mate. Where did you get that from?
I'm not gonna lie, mate. I made it myself. I made
Did
the
you?
design and I went on to Vista Print whatever. So it's we might just start a wee company if I end up with no job one day, that could be a wee part time gig. But yeah, if anybody wants one, just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I attempted to do it, and obviously, usual for me, I took on far too much than I could handle. Because I tried to start a kind of merch one. You probably I don't know if were you watching the pod at that point when I did try and start a merch.
I did, mate.
Um,
I have got a T-shirt in my cupboard. I have got
do
a.
you?
I
Do
do,
you?
I do indeed.
Bloody hell! So
I tell
yeah,
you what, I shall wear it next week. I shall wear it on the pod.
yeah, mate. Why not? Why not? Why the hell not? Why the hell not? So yeah, it's tough going though to do something like that. It really is. It is tough going. People will realise that I'm stalling a little bit because I forgot to do something at the start of this pod that I'm trying to get done now, which will all make sense as it's the start of our giveaway. Except my password's not working, so I'll wing this. I've still got a copy of it, but I can't see everybody's name, unfortunately, because of the way this thing works. So everybody's going to basically have a number. That's the easiest way to explain this. We are going from 1 to 90, Ross. So pick a random number, any number you want, between 1 and 90, and this will be part of our many members Christmas giveaway. So for all our channel members, and this one will be for the current home top this season in any size that you wish. So Ross, a number between 1 and 90. And since this, like, nobody can say that this was organised because I completely forgot to download that thing that I need to do and I hadn't done it. So I was trying to wing it and it didn't work. So Ross, any number between 1 and 90, mate, go for it.
Wow. Okay. You know what? The positivity's coming. 56. We're going for 56. 56.
We're going for 56. Neil French, there you go. Neil French, you are the winner of the Rangers home top. Please get in touch with me at the club's email address, which is in the description for this podcast. Please get in touch. I'll put a post out on the community page as well. But Neil French, congratulations! You are the first winner in our Christmas giveaway. There you go, mate. That worked. That you can't say
I
that
did.
didn't work. That worked. We got there. We got there. So yes, congratulations, Neil. And if you want, still anybody that wants to join, you by all means sign up to the membership. You'll still be a chance of winning some prizes as we'll run this up to the 20th of December. So get signed up. You'll be a chance to win a goodie, a Christmas gift from us at the podcast. Right, Ross, I was also stalling because we need to talk about Rangers. We'll start with the win over St Johnstone on Sunday early afternoon. I had my colourful say, I will say, about the performance on Sunday, and I still very much stand by it. My opinion has been changed even after watching the game back. I still don't think we are particularly great to watch. However, before I am not trying to influence your opinion on the game, sir. So, what was your thoughts on the game overall on Sunday?
To be fair, mate, I think a lot of people, myself included, are completely in the same boat as you. It's very hard to not look at it in a very realistic and just I don't know. We care so much about domestic football. It's all well and good seeing the European football, but domestic football will always be the kind of bread and butter, if you will. And this constant just going back to the old that we've seen, you can't sugarcoat it. It's something that we say every single week. So no, my overall thoughts of performance was it it was a 1-0 win against St Johnstone. It's exactly how it sounds. It's exactly what it was in the tin. It's not entertaining. It's nothing really to write home about. And we have a massive game going in tomorrow that I hate. I cannot believe I'm saying this. Do you put ourselves? Is tomorrow a guaranteed 3 points after performances like that? Definitely not in the league. You'd suggest otherwise, but obviously we'll come on to that. But my overall thoughts, mate, is just the same flat domestic performance that we've seen over and over again. Don't get me wrong, I think there was probably some positives in it. I think you were right in the post match. I think Hagi, as much as I don't think anybody got massive pass marks, I think he probably got the man of the match for me. Tierney had a decent shot. I'm really trying to save every last bit I can out of this, but that's probably the majority of it, mate. It's 3 points up the road, but we can't keep saying 3 points up the road. We need to, at this stage when the league is, let's be fair, it's pretty much done. We almost need performances over points. Yes, points are important, but performances are where it's at, and the weekend was not one to be remembered, unfortunately.
I think performances, yes. I think more so, I just want to see improvement domestically. I don't really need to be seeing like Barcelona in 2000 or whatever. I don't need to be seeing that, but I need to be seeing some forms of progress domestically. And I don't think Sunday was. I mean, I think if you really wanted to sit there and try and pick out positives from it, you'd say St Johnstone were very limited in the game. They didn't offer very much, but they never should offer very much. No disrespect to St Johnstone, but they never shouldn't be a game that we have to rely on an own goal for us to win the game, because as solid as we were defensively, and we'll probably come on to speak about the defence in a bit, but it's the attacking line, mate, that domestically we just don't seem to have any killer edge, any ways of creating like clear cut golden opportunities to score. We're not making them. We are maybe creating one or two goal scoring opportunities a game, which domestically is not enough. It really is not enough, because we should be doing more. Look, Hagi has come in for the praise because he was the brightest of the kind of front four, if you like. Well, I thought he was anyway. I thought he made a bit of an impact. I thought he looked like he was trying to prove a point, which is all well and good, and it probably goes back to us thinking, right, well, he's staying. We're paying him this pretty substantial wage. We should try and get something out of him. And that's the kind of performance that I would expect from Janis Hagi at this point. Not taking anything away from him, because he's still got to go out there and do it, but I thought he was good. Interestingly, today I heard in his press conference, as I was frantically getting home from work, that he did say he stayed because he loves the club. Now, I think that's, again, the Rangers are coming out in me a little bit. I remember what he said previously about the fact that he's seen his future lying elsewhere, etc., or something along those lines anyway. However, if Janis Hagi is here and we are lacking creativity and he is going to make a positive impact, we have to use him. What was your take on Hagi's performance on Sunday?
Yeah, no, I think he's the bright spark that we've probably needed in that number 10 position. I think obviously the one frustration recently has been the lack of, I guess, attacking output from that number 10. So to see a player ultimately get an assist at the weekend was positive, I guess. I think Hadji, he does give you a wee bit different. He does have the ability. He does. It's whether it is, people say it's in the genetics, people whatever. He's got something about him that just he's a decent footballer, and it was the most Rangers thing ever where I saw him go down at the weekend. I was like, oh, here we go. But thankfully, he could carry on. And I agree. If he's here, if he's on this wage, you don't play Hadji over a key and double. You don't play Hadji Oh, sorry, you play Hagi over Kieran Dowell. Don't get that. Come on, don't be taking tips off me. Do not take tips off me.
I was
Chainsaw.
like, play
Um,
Kevin Dow? No, no
yeah, I know,
thanks.
I
No
know. That's
thanks.
another conversation, by the way. The fact he's still get on
Yes,
the pitch is just
I
wow.
know.
But no,
Yes.
Hagi starts for me the number 10 just now, while at least Lawrence is out. Obviously Barami's your guy, but Barami looks to be out on the left just now. So yeah, I think Hagi overall. Another thing as well, he takes a shot outside the box. Don't get me wrong, one hit a fan in Rosehead at the weekend, but at least he had a shot. That's it's this. If Clement wants to go down these shots at goal, there's a guy who will hit two or three in a game. So it does give you that wee bit different, but yeah, it is like you make a good point that is he here because he's not got many options? But I don't know. At the end of the day, that's kind of, as long as he does things on the football pitch, that's irrelevant. So yeah, I'd hope to see him play tomorrow night. And yeah, hopefully this time at Ibrox doesn't result in a red card for the boy. That'd be nice.
That'd be pucker. I suppose it's an improvement on his comeback game, if you like, because obviously he gets sent off against St Johnstone. So that and taking that's an improvement in itself. The fact he never gets sent off. But yeah, look, if we're going to persist, or Clement's going to persist with Barami playing on the left wing and not using them in the 10, which I do believe is where he should be playing, then Hagi right now is the next best option. No disrespect to Diomande, but he's not a 10. He was good in Europe, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take anything away from him because it was a very good performance. Well, a better performance than we've seen from him recently in Europe against Nice. But I think Hagi is a much more capable number 10 than Diomande ever will be. And that's, again, my personal opinion. I don't think Hagi's the answer, but he has to be an option when we're struggling. He picked up decent positions from time to time. I thought he was finding the wee gaps, the wee areas of uncertainty for the midfield and the defenders about who tracks him, who picks him up, because he's quite intelligent. I don't think he's the quickest. I don't think he's the best technical ability player that we have in the team. However, he will find space and he's not scared to keep on going. Hagi, one thing I'll always say about him, he never hides. I've never seen Janis Hagi hide for Rangers. He always makes himself available. So, I mean, that's a positive taken away from the game, is that he made a bit of an impression. The back line as well, mate. I'm interested to get your take on it because, no, yeah, mostly because we're different generations, mate. Not that that's a bad thing, that's a good thing. It's one of the reasons that you were such a perfect fit when I thought about getting you on the pod. John Souters took some criticism on this podcast from a number of us. I've still very much on the fence with him. I think sometimes the criticism's a bit harsh. Other times I think it could be warranted. So I do sit on the fence with John Souter. I think he's improved. Don't get me wrong. I think it was critical for him as a player at Rangers that Connor Goldson moved on, because I don't think he was ever really going to get the proper time that he would need. And I didn't mean to use proper to talk about his defensive partner. We'll come to him. But John Soutter, for me, mate, I thought he was solid on Sunday. I really did think he was solid. However, he should be doing that against St Johnstone away. So a backhanded compliment. But I think he is developing, and I think sometimes we see, he's not the future of Rangers. He's not a first choice Rangers centre half. I'm beginning to think maybe he could be, because I think his improvement. I think when you're looking at it, every defender for Rangers has got a bomb scare, right? Connor Goldson had them. And people forget that now that he's not here. But Connor Goldson had some bomb scares. Every defender does it. But right now, for me, Soutter is solid enough. What's your take on just John Soutter? Do you think he's a kind of future first choice, or should remain to be one of the first choice centre halves at Rangers? Obviously, regardless of what recruitment may happen going forward.
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. Especially, you're right. The recent performances is kind of suggested that the John Sutter that we maybe saw at Hearts and thought, yeah, you know what, you could maybe do a bit of a job for us. I think just now, one thing we're needing with the departure of Goldson going into this season, we do need somebody, a commanding figure in the back line, somebody that, especially if Tavernier's not going to be there every game, you need somebody who can command the back line as a bit of a presence. Obviously, Jack Butland's that as well. But for me, Sutter, performance-wise, recently has been very, very solid. I think you're right to bring him up. I mean, both for club and country as well. John Sutter's getting praise. So it's good that we're kind of starting to see the Sutter that maybe if he was playing at Hearts or whatever folk would start to say, "Oh, aye, he could be a decent option at Rangers." We're now potentially starting to see that there's players that you know are on the international level and for Scotland and should be fitting into our first team. So for me, Suter, I think's definitely he's one of the core spine of the team that we've been speaking about. And could it be potential? Obviously, captain's a tricky subject to speak about. Does he lead in that sort of way? You'd hope so. You'd hope so. You're right. Everybody does have a bomb scare in them, but at the end of the day, that's just part of football. At the moment he's doing more doing more good than bad. So yeah, I think Sutter's for the performances I've seen recently, I have no doubts of him. He's one of the first names in the team sheet, which for a while wasn't really the case. So for me, it sort of gets we'll give him some pass marks for the weekend. They made a good burst of pace against one of their strikers, I remember. But yeah, mate, Sutter's kind of no complaints from me just now.
Yeah, I think he was solid enough. He kind of wins. He's a very good seized defender. He's very good at clearing his lines. He's very good at the kind of things. He's bringing the ball out less often now, but I think that's really due to the performance of the team overall and maybe the fragility that they all feel. I think because we all can see with our own eyes that the performance levels are not where they are meant to be. But as I say, I think the real discussion now is Suter and who. It's not somebody and somebody. It's now Suter and who plays at the back. And I suppose you have to give him credit for that. You have to give him credit for that. Robin Propper went off injured at half time. I've got real concerns about him, Ross. I'm not going to lie. I don't think he's cut out for it. I don't think he's cut out for Scottish football. I don't really think he'll ever be up for the physicality of it. And the fact that he got an injury kind of halfway through the half, he kind of limped on to half time, and then Balogun came on from him. I know Balogun can't play. Well, maybe he can. Who am I to say what Balogun can and can't do? But I would be shocked if he can go week in and week out playing every 3 days, 4 days, or whatever it may be. But Balogun is just a better choice right now for me. I think it should be Suter and Balogun until Balogun needs a rest.
Yeah, spot on. Definitely in the league for sure. Proper in the league is showing that unfortunately these more potentially physical strikers can get the better of them. Yeah, I think the manager said in his presser that he did have a knock. I think he also had that illness as well, so it probably wasn't his finest hour. But yeah, it's a player who, again, if you want to talk about the whole Goldson situation, I thought Proper would have came in and kind of slotted in almost perfectly. Obviously, he was the captain at FC20. He's a good CV on him, but it's just he said himself that he's struggling to adapt, and it's pretty clear on the football pitch. So I don't know, maybe a spell at a team could maybe do him good. Maybe if Balogun comes in, especially for, I mean, these next 2 domestic games and the games after that is, well, we need defensive solidity, that's for sure. But maybe it could do him some good some time at the team. Although a game like tomorrow night would have probably been decent for him if he could have got some home minutes under his legs, whatever. I do agree. Balogun's the centre back choice just now for Suter. It's looking at God forbid if Balogun got injured, who's your guy there? Is it who's it? Potentially Inciala? I don't know. Was Leon King? I honestly have no clue. So we're kind of walking in thin ice there. But for me, Balogun's just now it's a straight swap. It's an easy swap. But if that could so easily, as you say, Balogun could quite easily play games in the bounce for all I know. But we are one injury away from potential James Sands flashbacks. Like it's not looking great in that regard. So Balogun for me tomorrow, mate. Balogun for me tomorrow.
Yeah, and obviously with Sterling, with the kind of blocked nerve that he's reported to have had, and it's not really an injury, it's just a problem that he's got that he needs to go and get resolved. And I'll show my age and say that I've had blocked nerves and they are not enjoyable experiences. They're really not. So I don't really know how he's managing to play football. But the pain-killing injections or the caffeine, must be the caffeine that's getting him through that Rangers coffee. But we are short there. It's going to be a position that's going to need addressed, I think, and quite quickly, because I don't think many people really have the confidence in Proper. And it looks like we have wrote him off quite quickly. John Shooter's got a bit more time, but I just can't see Proper really developing the physical side of his game at the kind of at this stage of his career. And I think Balogun is just that kind of physical presence that we all kind of feel quite comfortable with. Again, Balogun's solid enough for me. I still think he'll have the wee odd moment in him as well, where you're thinking, oh, a wee kind of wince at it from time to time. But as you can tell, I'm trying to pull as many positives out that game as I really can, but I do struggle. It wasn't great attacking sense. To say it was an own goal. Yes, Tav would have scored it if Holt wasn't there. After the game, Clement said that it was a good performance, and this is the bit that I start to get frustrated at, I think, and it's just because of my opinion. Now, I appreciate that I'm so far gone with Clement now. Like, after the kind of Dundee United game, I completely lost all sort of form of I'm not going to listen to any reasoning that you may have. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a matter of time before he goes. I might be wrong. As I say, the way things are happening right now within the club, it might not be the case. But his comments, it was a good performance. It's not. For me, it just isn't. I don't think we're doing nearly enough. He keeps saying week on week, game on game, we're getting better. And I'm like, we're not getting better. Like, the chance creation bit is the biggest problem. Yeah, we're solid enough at the back, we are, but St Johnstone didn't do enough to really merit us being overly concerned about them scoring a goal. And I mean, don't disrespect to them, it's true. Does come on believe this, mate? Like, where does, like, what are we doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, where are we going? Because I begin to think, have I just got like glasses on where I won't see the wood for the trees? But I say I always watch again. I will always watch games back. I always do. I always find time to do it. And I'm watching the back and he's saying, and I'm obviously listening to his press conference and I'm going, good. I'm like, that's not really good enough. Especially, as you mentioned that Kieran Dowell's getting an appearance towards the end. I'm going, this isn't a good performance. It really isn't. What needs to change, Ross? Well, I suppose that's what I'm getting at. What needs to change? What's your opinion? Is the transition from European to domestic football, is it really that big? Is it really that massive? I don't think St Johnstone really sat in that deep. I've seen a team sit a lot deeper against Rangers, don't get me wrong. I mean, they did to an extent. They were trying to nullify us. We did dominate the ball most of the time, especially more so in the second half. We kept the ball a lot better. But what needs to change? Is it a pressure thing? Is it a mentality thing? Is there too many things for us to be able to sit and list it? Is there a simple fix that we need? What's your opinion? Do you see a way of Clement being able to harness our European performances and take them into domestic football? Is it as easy as that, or is it run way deeper for tacticians and analysts to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to football?
I'll be honest, mate. I have no clue whatsoever. It's so hard to pinpoint what exactly it is. I think from a football fan point of view, it's consistency. Consistency needs to be definitely a much more common thing in the team with Rangers. I don't know if it's even a sense of, do the players that we have, do they care about domestic football? And obviously, again, I'm a football fan. It's probably quite naive to say that, but I think I think it might have been yourself who made the point that is Diamandi getting onto the end of the ball, and away in Europe, is he doing that domestically? I don't know. I don't know, and I don't
Yeah,
think it's I don't think it's a coincidence on the bright European nights that we see the best of Rangers. I think we were very very lucky in the last few years with the Europa League to have some nights that I'll never ever forget. It's quite a changed team. We have relatively the majority of the team's changed. I don't know if the players, if we brought in, have they seen Rangers as an advert? Rangers v Dortmund, Rangers v Leipzig, not Rangers v Ross County, not Rangers v whoever. I don't know if it's what it's going to take for the players to understand that the domestic football in Glasgow is what matters. Don't get me wrong, yes, Europa League, when Tottenham come to Ibrox, when we go to Man U, brilliant, we'll be buzzing, we'll be right behind the team like we are every week. But nights like tomorrow night, Kilmarnock at home, that is ultimately all we'll care about at the end of the season. We want to be lifting domestic trophies. So I think potentially, mate, the problem is we need something, somebody to reinstill to the team, potentially the manager, that domestic football is where it's at. And if you can go and do that, if you can go and lift a cup, two cups this season, and find out what it's like, go and do it, because that might be the kick up the backside that they need. But for me, mate, what needs to change is just this whole domestic slog that we're used to, because the point gap will become 15, it'll become 20. Jings, I don't want to even think about that. And that it can't for Glasgow Rangers. It's simply it can't. So for me, mate, there needs to be a bit of some needs to come in like a. I mean, imagine an Alan McGregor getting into that dressing room at the I don't know the full time, or just somebody who just understands and can tell them about it. We as the fans can do it. You can boycott games, whatever. Is that gonna do it? I don't know. It's such a it's such a tricky one to figure out. But if somebody can tell them that the big shiny thing that has SPFL written on it is what we want, then that'd be brilliant. But I don't know where that's going to come from.
I'm beginning to think that even Kilmarnock himself was resigned quite quickly to we're not going to win a league with this team, or and it's now I just have to double down on this. We are getting better. We are game on game getting better. This, that, the other. I think right now we're at the point that if we continue to do, I mean, with barring a catastrophe with Rangers being in a position that they're in Europa League just now, will probably get through, likely in the maybe playoff, maybe even not playoff, depending on how the rest of the games go. Yes, we've got tough games coming up, but you never know, because you don't know with Rangers in Europe. They could show up and put in a stormer. But I think that's going to keep him in his job. I I don't want to, I don't want to keep going on about the fact that I think he shouldn't be the Rangers manager anymore. But if we drop more points before the cup final, if we get beat in the cup final, I'm just thinking where do we go and what's happening with the club? Obviously, it was broke just before we actually started recording earlier on by Chris Jack from the Rangers Review, that the likelihood of Malcolm Offord being Rangers chairman is not going to happen due to it stalling. Chris Jack's probably the closest of the kind of fan medias, if you like, that's closest to the club, and tends to be pretty spot on with the stuff he's saying. So again, it's another setback. Yes, the CEO is going to be coming in, but we still don't have the kind of chairman there. Maybe the CEO will take full responsibility of it all, but I just think because we can't get our ducks in a row at board level, I just don't see them getting rid of Clement. Am I just losing all perspective on things just now, Ross? Is this what Rangers are doing to me? Or do you kind of get where I'm coming from? I just think when I'm looking at Clement, I'm going, are we going to trust this guy again? We're going into the transfer market. Are we going to trust him that he is going to be the guy for the remainder of the season? How much damage is the team going to take? Because you have to remember, say we do have one of the worst seasons in our history and we finish, say, fourth, fifth, even if things were to go terribly wrong domestically. Not that I'm saying that they do. I think Rangers will hopefully get to second, because Aberdeen seem to have hit a wee bump in the road, so hopefully that gap can close. Obviously we've got a game against them coming up, but how far will the club let it go? Do you know what I mean? How far is it going to go before we go, this isn't good enough? Every post match that we do, after we fumble over the line, after we just do enough to get the game over the line, we say the same things, that things aren't improving. Where do you think Clement's here for a long time? What do you think? Do you think the 15th is D-Day for him?
I think it all depends on the results. I can say if we win our next two games, what is it, Kilmarnock and then Ross County,
County, yeah.
and then
Spurs,
hypothetically we
Spurs and
get
then Celtic, yeah.
if we get battered off Spurs, say 4 or 5, and I reckon if they put even 3 past us, I genuinely think it might be away. I think it will take potentially that one like embarrassing result in Europe, but then it will be topped off by the cup final. Because although that we're still looking for I guess we're looking for these figureheads in at the club. You'd hope there'd still be enough people at the club to understand where the standards of Rangers are, because the standards of
I mean,
Rangers are.
Alex Ray's there. Alex Ray's, he knows, Alex Ray knows fine well what Rangers are all about.
And he might be a guy who comes in and gives them that. You'd hope that he would come in and
Who knows?
give them something. But I do genuinely think if we are 6-0 down against Spurs, and again, sorry for the negativity, folks, as I do apologise. If we do get scudded off Spurs and we do lose a cup final, then he'll need to go, because he can't, again, because even it goes back to think. I know that, don't get me wrong, we are not in the best form just now, but again, you look at how many games has Clermont would have won against them. How many games are we sitting back, as you say, looking back, going, that was an absolute slog. There's say if you were buying from a company and the company's consistently letting you down, you wouldn't go back to them. A football club's different because it means more to us. You've obviously yourself, mate. You've seen Rangers much longer than I have, but for the shorter time that I've had following Rangers, it's the unique thing that will never ever, it will never not mean anything to us. And whenever the team isn't performing, it's nobody's more frustrated than us. And I hope it's never good seeing fans, for example, boycotting games, seeing the things after the videos after the games and the players getting it. But if there's any other communication to the club that we are not happy with what we're seeing, it shouldn't. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that doing that to the players is right, but you know what I mean. Like the kind of general reading of the room, you should be able to see where we are. And I do think that for the new people coming in, could getting rid of Clermont actually be the doing it on the 15th, if the results do go that way? Could that be the first step forward? I know it's potentially harsh. But could that be the first step to forward going? So we can sit back and generally go, right. This is Rangers. This is a bit of intent. This is where the standards should be, not accepting the mediocrity that we're seeing every week. So 15th could be D-Day, mate. It could be. I hope that Clermont proves us wrong. Don't get me wrong, I think if we were to lose against Tottenham, if we were to win against Celtic, hypothetically, if we were, it would buy in time. It would buy Clermont time, definitely. But do I see that happening? I don't think so. But we'll come to that.
I agree. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm confident going to Hampden, mate. Like, I'm going, of course I'll go. I'll go to the game, but I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say I've got any form of confidence about what I'm going to see. To be completely honest, and if Cologne does manage to win us the cup, then and we get through Europe, then he'll be here for the rest of the season, and we have not improved, if that makes sense, because it's still the same. Like, do you know what I mean? It's nothing is got any better, and it will buy him time. But right now, hand on heart, I think Celtic will comfortably beat us. Like, comfortably. I don't think it'll be very difficult for them. And again, that resolves back to our chance creation. It's not the fact that I don't think we can compete. I think we could compete on our day. Same as any team can compete with any team on their day. You can compete with the team, but I just don't see where our goals are going to come from. I don't see where that's going to happen domestically. Anyway, I just don't see where it's going to happen. So look, I think even if Rangers were 3 points clear just now and still lost the first Old Firm game of the season, but we were sitting 3 points clear for talking's sake, and we were going into this final. Clermont has to beat Celtic. There is no excuse. He's had many opportunities now. No successful Rangers manager gets away with not beating Celtic. You have to beat them. It's going to have to happen. If he doesn't, it's another massive stick for him to get beat over the head with, in my opinion. So look, we're coming up to crunch time, and it's not too long to go. Literally 12 days to go, and we'll know exactly where we are. We'll finish up, Ross, with discussing what do you think you're going to see tomorrow night from Rangers? Again, another impossible task to try and to try and put up like a an opinion forward that might actually come true, because it's very difficult right now to predict Rangers. I'm not going to lie, I expect the same. I expect the same that we've seen. I don't think Rangers will be particularly good. Kilmarnock have hit a wee rocky patch themselves recently. They're not doing their best. I think they drew at the weekend, so they're not doing their best. What do you expect, mate? More of the same from Rangers? Do you expect real changes? Do you expect much change to the starting 11? But where do you see tomorrow going? I think Kilmarnock will come to frustrate. I think there's absolutely no doubt about that. And I am quite intrigued to see the attendance tomorrow night, because it's this time of the year, etc., etc. The way Rangers are, it'd be interesting to see. But what do you expect from the game tomorrow night?
I genuinely believe we'll be sat speaking about the exact same stuff, mate. I hate to say it, but I think we will. Especially with a team like Kilmarnock, where you know they will just sit however many men behind the ball. They are potentially one of the worst teams you'd want to come up against just now, because of the, you know exactly what 20 minutes in is going to be like if we are just passing it about like we have been. Yeah, I don't think there'll be much rotation in the squad, although, and whenever I was thinking about this game, I potentially thought this could maybe be a game for some youth players to get a chance. Obviously, we're coming up to that kind of busy period. I didn't know if seeing Bailey Rice in Europe was that maybe an indication of, right, maybe some players, could this home game at Ibrox midweek be an opportunity? Could that get fans back in the stadium? I don't know, but I'll be honest in saying I don't expect much change. And I've don't get me wrong, I've the last few weeks I've tried to kind of say, oh, will we see it? Will we see it? It's hard to, that this the third time now. It's kind of hard to not kind of come to that conclusion. But you're right, no, Kilmarnock are like, sitting 10th just now in the league. They've won one game since they beat us. That's out of 6 games, so there's no excuse to drop a point, never mind 3 points tomorrow night. There's Kilmarnock, it is 3 points or nothing. And if we can, again, one thing I was touching on a few weeks ago is that, as you say, there's 12 days until that cup final. We need to start figuring out who this starting 11 is going to be for us. Is Hagi going to play against Celtic on the 15th? Is Igamani going to play? Is Balogun? We'll need to figure out. So tomorrow night for me is another chance to kind of figure out who that team is going to be. Because obviously that's all that matters just now. That game, the 15th, is all that matters. So I think we saw Hagi at the weekend. If he can do it again, yep, he puts himself right in the pipeline. There's players who, there's an opportunity there. Please go and grab it, because we need it. We seriously need it just now. So the performance wise, mate, I reckon much more the same. But my positive heat says get some players with some decent performances, and that could give us something good to speak about after the game.
I completely agree with the idea of we need to nail down the 11 for Celtic, and it's critical that they play as much time together as they can before that game. I could not agree more, mate. I really could not agree more. If it's going to be Balogun, you play Balogun. If it's going to be Hagi, you play Hagi. Everything that you just said, mate, I couldn't agree more, because it is right now all we are really waiting for. Everybody's waiting for that game, which is a weird thing, really, for Rangers fans, because you look at the league table and you immediately go, oh, you get a sigh around you, because you're going, God, we're absolutely nowhere near it. Yeah, Aberdeen are coming back a little bit towards us, but Celtic are really only going one way just now. And I'm not saying I know I'm concentrated on Rangers. I'm just putting it in context in terms of the league. But everybody is looking at that game. Yes, the Spurs game a little bit, because it's a bit of a glamour tie and etc. And there might be a slight eye on that, but I think everybody would take a 3-0 defeat against Kilmarnock if it guaranteed against not Kilmarnock against against Don. No, I would never accept a 3-0 defeat to Kilmarnock. A 3-0 defeat to Spurs if you could guarantee you would win the cup. I think everybody would take that. I don't think anybody would say no to that. Obviously that's not the way football works, but the idea of getting a solid foundation on playing time and building as much chemistry as you can between players for between now and the 15th is just critical, really is critical to give us a fighting chance, in our opinion anyway, in both our opinions, because I think you're spot on there, mate. I think it's vital that they do that. Will Clement do it? Very much doubt it. I very much doubt it. Who goes? He surprises me all the time, mate, so you never know. Maybe he will. On that, mate, who do you think? I didn't hear Clement's presser today, by the way, so I don't know was there a squad update. Did you listen to it by any chance, Ross?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of similar. Cortez and Matondo are still coming back. Lawrence shouldn't be too long. I think said I proper went off a bit of a knock. There was one more guy as well, but yeah, relatively unchanged here.
Yeah, so not much the same, and obviously I don't think we'll see. Oh, Casemiro, mate, 4 to 6 months. Bah,
Yeah, that is gutting. That is.
gutting for him, innit? That is so gutting. We spoke about that before, but that is so gutting for him. That really is. That's a shocker. Well, that's a real bad one. That's a real shame. Who knows what will happen with him in the future? But yeah, when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's him. So he's out for the rest of the season for sure. So on that, mate, what's your team prediction and what's your score prediction for tomorrow night?
Okay, so I'm going Butland in goals. I think Tav's gonna come. Tav, well, he needs to play. We've not got
He needs
any
to play.
unless Divine comes in. I don't know, but probably Tav will start. I'm going Suter, Balogun. I was in between Jefty and Yilmaz, but I think probably gonna go Jefty. I think probably. Then I'm going Raskin, Barron, Hagi, Cherney, Barami. I'd go Agamani. He's going to start Dessers. I think he's going to start Dessers. I think that I know. Agamani, some folk will look at his performance at the weekend and say, "No, he's not good enough. Not good enough." You need to give the boy a chance. You saw what he can do. He's capable. Come on, it needs to similarly give him that chance. He's waxed lyrical about him. Apparently, if we waited any longer, we couldn't get him. We need to keep playing him, and I hope don't get me wrong. I hope he proves me wrong. As much as I think Dessers was going to play, I hope he plays Agamani. But yeah, I think it might be D9 on top tomorrow. But Agamani, he's one of those players that on the 15th, I hope he's starting because how many times have we said, oh, that's a sitter from Dessers, that's a sitter against. Again, I don't want to harp on too much about that game the 15th. You'll get 2 or 3 chances. Potentially, you need to put all of them away. Agamani has a more likely chance of doing that than Dessers. So I'd be starting Agamani. I think he's going to start Dessers. But I'm going 2-1 Rangers with a have penalty. Penalty to Rangers. Can't wait. Can't wait.
It's been a while. It's been a while, mate. My starting 11 would be probably the same as yours. The only thing that I again with an eye on the 15th, if Betondo and Cortez, one of the two of them, isn't going to be fit enough for that left hand side, because I think we're going to need pace. I really do think we're going to need pace in the team. So if they're not going to be fit enough, I would be shocked to, well, I would be shocked because it doesn't do anything really that tends to make much sense to me. But with Jeffy and Yilmaz thing on the left hand side, possibility of seeing that again. However, when you look at the bench, then I know you've got Fraser there who could come on and play at left back. Is he going to be the backup? And we're going to look at playing Yilmaz or Jeffy a bit further forward. Don't know. But I think we could see something like that. And if it's not going to be Hagi, getting Barami into the 10 if he's going to be the one for the Old Firm Pro. I think there's a lot of food for thought in terms of the starting 11. But if I was to go on it right now, I would go with what you picked. As the starting 11. I hope Cyril Dessers doesn't start. I honestly hope he doesn't, because it's a real sigh when I see. Usually when I'm on the way to the game or something, and the team comes out and I look at it and I'm like, God, there's Dessers, right? But after that missing Nice, I don't think he's done himself any favours, and I think Egerman's, it's got to be him. We've got to continue. Well, maybe Danilo. He might maybe give Danilo a start. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. As always, I just want to see a better performance in 3 points. That's it. I just want Rangers to look like they're improving, because it would be nice to see, and not a slogfest, not a slip up, not a something that I'm left at the end just going, I feel exactly the same. I want Clement to change my mind. I really do. I don't ever want a Rangers manager to fail, but right now he's giving me nothing domestically to go on at all. Absolutely nothing. I'll go slightly more positive. I'll go 3-1 Rangers, and I'll go Barami to find a wee bit of form and to score first. But I'll take a penalty at Rangers all day long. That will do us for tonight. Ross, thank you very much for joining me, mate.
No, thank you. That was good. That was good. Look, I just to the listeners, we hate speaking negatively
I
about
hate it.
Rangers.
I hate it, mate.
It's the worst, and it's as you say, it is a form of therapy coming on, because it's just it needs to be vocalised. Don't get me wrong, it needs to be heard. But yeah, look, we go into a game tomorrow that I just likewise I hope, and I've repeated it, I hope we can see a positive Rangers performance, and yeah, if we can come away with something again, just something, whether it is a Barami goal, be nice, a wee bit of form. if it is Jefty and Yilmaz on the left, just something a bit different, we could take that away. But I just hope we're sat at the end of the game with those positives to kind of take away from the game. So no, mate, thank you as always. That was, yeah, just. I can't tell if I'm looking forward to the game or not. I'll wait till tomorrow and I'll figure it. But no, thank you as always, mate.
No, but it's to say, I get it, mate. I 100% get it. Even when I sat down on Sunday, I was like, right, here we go again. Let's see what we're going to get. But no, I couldn't agree more. I would love to be sitting after it and saying that was pretty good. I really would. I would really enjoy to do that because it is hard work being like this all the time. But I'll say it every time. I will always be honest. I really will always be honest because if you don't have honesty about what you're saying, then I don't really think you've got much credibility. So I just always try and remain as honest as I can. Yeah, so thank you for tuning in to us tonight. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Neil, congratulations on winning the first gift in our Merry Members giveaway. Please get in touch with me. I say the podcast link the email for the podcast will be in the description for this podcast, and I put it on the community page that you are our first winner, so please do get in touch. We will be back tomorrow night with a club reaction, win, lose or draw. Please be a win, at least, Rangers. Please be a win. That would be rather lovely. But until then, I hope you enjoy the game. I hope Rangers are much more entertaining for us all. And I will probably speak to you all tomorrow night. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.